up my PowerPoint. Okay, yes, I can see you as well. Wendy, Jaren, Li Qiang as well. All right. So as promised, okay, the time now is about 8:35. So we are going to get started. Anyway, for those of you who just joined us, okay, don't worry. This video will actually be recorded on our Facebook community inside our Facebook page. So feel free to actually rewatch it or also share with your friends whom you know that they might have been invested in this company, and also some of the other electric vehicle companies like XPeng, Li Auto, or even Tesla as well. So I'll say that this is actually a good PowerPoint for them to actually get an overall understanding on how the EV market is actually performing. Okay, of course, to get everything started, let me just start off with a very important slide, and that will be the disclaimer. So like I said, personally, I do own some of the electric vehicle in my current portfolio. So again, today, this is purely for education purpose. All right, I'm just going to share with you basically my view of the market and how I feel about, you know, some of these companies as well. So again, this is not a recommendation to buy or a recommendation to sell. Okay, but of course, if you allow me, I will actually share with you my personal point of view. And of course, like I said, please do your own due diligence before you actually invest. All right, and with that, I think we are ready to go on. So as usual for our buy or buy series, this will be the format that we will be going through. First of all, we start off with the background. Okay, so I'll talk about the background of this company, NIO. And then I also talk about a little bit about the industry, which is the electric vehicle industry as a whole. And I'll talk about the growth, because personally, I love a growth company that is growing. So I'll talk about, you know, why I feel that NIO is actually a growing company and what are some of the growth potential coming from NIO. And at the same time, coming to the comparison, we look at some of the competitor in the market like XPeng, Li Auto, and even Tesla as well. Then we touch on the risk of this company as well as the opportunity. And last but not least, we will look at some of the financial figure, the numbers. Okay, let's start off with the first one, okay, which is the background, right? So NIO is a Chinese company. Okay, it's actually founded in November 2014 by this gentleman called William Li. I do encourage you guys to actually go and watch YouTube. There's a lot of video by William Li himself, okay, doing some of the sharing, especially when there's any new launch. Personally, when I actually watch the video, I find that he is relatively down to earth. All right, he's not those very fanciful founder. Yeah, so actually when you watch the video, you kind of, you know, it does actually help you to build a little bit of trust, okay, and get to know how this company is being run and things like that. So by now you should also realize that NIO is basically designing and developing electric vehicle, all right, which is EV, what we call EV. So I just want to touch on the first model. Okay, so NIO started actually with this particular model called the EP9. So it was developed and built in 18 months. And what happened is that why this particular car created a buzz, you know, when it was actually launched is because it was actually at that point of time, okay, this was a couple of years ago, it was the fastest car, okay, on earth. So they created this car in 18 months, and then it went to do the race track, and it was the fastest car. So that was kind of, you know, maybe it's for news, but that was pretty awesome. That was something that people didn't really expect, you know, for an electric car to be so powerful, right? And of course, again, this EP9 is not for sale. Okay, so they have only created 6 EP9. And again, it is being sold to all the new investors for 2.5 million each. So not cheap, okay? Yeah, again, like I said, they say that they will actually make another 10 more to be sold to the general public, but no news on that. Anyway, that's not the key point. So let's talk about the first volume manufactured vehicle, okay, coming out from NIO, which is the ES8. So this was actually launched a couple of years ago in December 2007. So in terms of what kind of car this is a 7-seater premium electric SUV. All right, so I'm sure you all realize that SUV is pretty much one of the most popular car in terms of model, okay, in the current market. Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the big brands out there like Mercedes, BMW, Audi, or any of the other brands, okay, people love SUV probably because of the size, the way it looks. Some people love the higher seating height and all that. You can actually look further. Yeah, so basically when NIO come out with this, straight away they come out with first model, which is an SUV. Okay, again, it appeals to the general public. So this is a 7-seater electric SUV called the ES8. And then subsequently in 2018, they actually launched the ES6, right? So this is a 5-seater high performance electric SUV. So same thing, they focus purely on just SUV, right? And you can actually see based on this second model, right, in terms of the range, they can actually go as far as 610 kilometer, which is pretty awesome, okay, which is pretty awesome, right? And of course, in terms of the speed, you can see 0 to 100 is about 4.7 seconds, okay, 4.7 seconds. So just to give you a comparison, if you look at some of the Ferrari in the market or Lamborghini in the market, you know, they are probably looking at about 3 over second, you know, but this is a huge, gigantic car, okay, and you can sit 5% and it, you know, has a 0 to 100 of 4.7 seconds. So I would say that one of the reasons why a lot of people is moving into electric car is because of the very, very fast, I would say, move off time, especially in a place like Singapore, whereby you are just competing with the car beside you based on traffic light. So if you are able to do 4.7 seconds, that is going to be really, really amazing. All right, and of course, this is the latest model, which they have actually just launched December 2019. They have already started selling this car already. So this is actually a 5-seater mid-size luxury crossover, or what we call a SUV coupe. Okay, SUV coupe. So what is the difference between a normal SUV and a coupe is basically if you look at the back of this particular car, it is slightly sloping. It looks a little bit even sportier. All right, so for those of you who are familiar with, for example, the Mercedes GLC, you know, so GLC also has a normal version as well as a coupe version. So for the younger crowd, for the executive, they want something more sporty, something more, you know, more cool, and also more expensive, you know, and that will be the coupe. So this is the EC6, all right, which is a coupe SUV. So what happened is that during the launch of this particular vehicle, they actually give a comparison between EC6 as well as some of the, you know, nearest competitor based on this particular model, right? Okay, so it is actually competing with the Tesla Model Y, the Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe, as well as the BMW X4. One thing you can realize is that in terms of the length, in terms of the width, in terms of the height, and in terms of the wheelbase, Neo is slightly larger. Okay, it is definitely a slightly larger car in all areas, in the length, in the width, in the height, in the wheelbase, you know, as compared to the Model Y, the GLC Coupe, as well as the X4. So it looks relatively more impressive. All right, so right now I'm going to talk about some of the key milestones for this particular company, NIO. So what happened is that in October 2016, actually NIO announced that they have been given the autonomous vehicle testing permit. So actually the future of EV is not just electric vehicle. So the future of cars is also moving towards autonomous driving, whereby your car is able to move on its own, drive around on its own. So again, NIO is also onto this itself. Okay, it's not just Tesla. But again, Tesla is everything in-house. So all the autonomous technology is done in-house by Tesla itself. Whereas for NIO, they are using this technology called Mobileye. Okay, Mobileye is actually a company under Intel. So you can actually go and check out, you know, Mobileye, yes. So in May 2018, NIO actually opened its battery swap station. Later, I'm going to touch a little bit on that. Something really, really cool, the battery swap station. And of course, 2018 September, they filed for IPO on New York Stock Exchange. Okay, which is why now you are able to actually buy into NIO. For those of you who bought it in September or very early 2019, probably you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Okay, and of course, April 2020, you can see that there was a period of time whereby NIO was actually facing some financial difficulty. Okay, because they wasn't selling that many cars at that point of time. And of course, you can see April. And of course, before April, especially early part of the year, that was where COVID strikes. And there was a little bit of uncertainty. So you realize that at the point of time, the price of NIO was actually not that high. It was still pretty low. All right. It's actually subsequently, of course, with more and more sales coming up, that was where the share price of NIO actually went up a lot higher. And August 2020, NIO actually launched this particular thing called BaaS, which is Battery as a Service. All right, so this is like a membership whereby they actually sell you the car and the car costs cheaper. So they actually separate the car and the battery. So you can actually buy both together. That means your car comes with the battery. it is the normal retail price. And if let's say you want to buy a car without a battery, okay, it is going to be cheaper. But what happens is that you have to pay a monthly fee, okay, to actually pay for the battery. So later I'm also going to touch a little bit more on the battery as a service, and that is something that so far in the market only NIO has this particular battery as a service model. All right, so in terms of NIO power, okay, so that is where we want to touch on this thing called battery swap station. Okay, very, very interesting. So in order for your electric vehicle to actually charge, right, there's actually two ways. One is the normal charging station, whereby you can park the car, you put the charging hose, and then you charge. Okay, but the thing about charging hose is that the time taken is probably about 15-20 minutes, or even as long as half an hour, right, in order for you to, let's say, charge a full bar. Okay, or rather, we cannot say full tank, but yeah, full battery charge. Right, so it will take a little bit of time. Whereas for the battery swap station, what happens is that if your car is empty, okay, you drive into this particular swap station, they will remove the whole battery and they will swap in a full charge battery, and the whole process takes less than 5 minutes. All right, so it's almost equivalent to you right now going to a petrol station to pump a full tank. You know, it's probably going to take you 5 minutes or less. You know, so this is exactly what is happening on NIO platform itself. So they have this thing called a battery swap station. So again, for NIO, they believe a lot in experience. Okay, and as what the CEO of or the founder of NIO actually mentioned, is that if you actually compare, right, the price of NIO versus the price of Tesla. All right, can you can just make a guess, okay? You can just type in which one do you think is more expensive? NIO is more expensive or Tesla is more expensive? All right, just give you about 10 seconds, okay, to type in. T, you can type in T for Tesla and N for NIO. Which one is more expensive? Right, so some of you might have this impression, you know, like Tesla is a US brand, it should be more expensive. NIO is a China brand, relatively cheaper. Right, but it's actually not true because NIO is actually priced as a premium electric vehicle, and in terms of the pricing, they are actually more expensive than the Tesla. Okay, they are actually more expensive than the Tesla, and in fact, that is something that the founder actually he is proud of. He said that we are not trying to fight with Tesla because they are in a different category. NIO is actually in the premium electric vehicle segment, whereas probably for Tesla is more of the mid-range. Okay, so in terms of the power swap, again, this is actually one of the kind, the world first battery swap technology. So again, they mentioned that they have more than 1,002 patented technology. So it's not as easy as it seems. In fact, from what I have researched, is that Tesla used to actually do this swap of battery also. They tested it, but it didn't really work out for them. You know, but NIO managed to actually do it, so which is really, really amazing. And of course, like I said, in order to do this switching, right, one of the key advantage is that is speed and time. So you can see the second point whereby the fully automatic battery swap is 3 minutes faster than refueling. Okay, and of course the last one is that it only take up a small space okay, so it's pretty compatible, pretty compact. So we talk about the charging infrastructure because in order for the EV to sell, right, I think very importantly is that are we able to have the infrastructure to support, you know, today when I buy a NIO, what if I can't find a battery swap station? That is going to be an issue. Or what if I can't find a place to actually go and charge my my electric vehicle? All right, so I think this is something that you can be rest assured. Okay, in fact, China is actually one of the China has one of the most charging station, okay, in the world. All right, so they are actually pretty developed in terms of charging station. But when it comes to battery swap station, right now, NIO has 155 battery swap station, and they are definitely expanding this on a very, very fast pace. As mentioned by the founder, they are committed to add one station a week, at least one station a week. Right, and in terms to prove that this particular technology works, okay, in one of the recent interview, again, they actually mentioned that more than 1 million battery swap has already been done. So this is again a testament to the success of the technology and that, you know, it works. Okay, more than 1 million. Okay, so that is really, really amazing. And of course, like I said, NIO, they are actually branding themselves as a slightly higher premium brand. Okay, and that is why they focus a lot on service. So they actually have this thing called the NIO Power Mobile. So this NIO Power Mobile is basically like a mobile charging station, okay, like your portable charger for your car. So what happens is that if, let's say today you drive to a deserted place and your car is flat and there's no charging station nearby, you know, so what happens is that you can actually use the Neo app. You can actually go and call for this Neo Power, so they will actually get one of these car, which is actually a charging station, to actually drive over to your car, charge your car, and do it for you entirely free. All right, so again, that is a different level of service lah. They basically come to you and charge your car. All right, and again, I think they have this promise whereby they will actually be there within 2 hours lah. Okay, so again, 2 hours is, at least for now lah, I would say it's still not that short. But moving forward, they are going to, you know, increase the number of fleet, and yeah, this will actually become better and better. But again, like I said, this is nothing you have heard before, you know, a mobile charging station. Okay, so right now we're going to talk about the industry. Okay, but before we talk about industry, I just managed to see some of your answer. So quite a number of you actually put there's a mixture of NIO versus Tesla when it comes to which one is more premium. All right, yeah, so I hope you know, it's a little bit surprising that the NIO is actually priced as a more premium brand as compared to Tesla. So right now, let's look at the industry overall. Okay, and why a lot of people are actually very, very excited about EV market is because it is a very, very huge untapped market. So if you look at the number of electric vehicle in terms of sales right now, is actually only about 2.5%. Okay, of all the of the new sales, new car sales. Okay, electric vehicle only constitute 2.5%. Which means that actually it is still we are only at a starting phase lah. Okay, yeah. So of course we can see that in the future, I can actually foresee that pretty much in many countries it will be 100% electric vehicle. All right, diesel or even your internal combustion engine, or you know, basically your car that runs on oil, will become obsolete lah. Okay, will become obsolete. So basically every car will become an electric vehicle. So right now, the number of new car sales, okay, electric car is only forming 2.5%, which means that it has a huge potential to actually grow. And when it comes to European countries, right, you can see surprisingly Norway has the highest percentage of electric car. Okay, Norway has the highest percentage based on the number that you actually see over there. They are close to 60%. Okay, close to 60%. Again, that was because a long time ago, they have already started this initiative of moving carbonless, moving towards electric. And you can actually see on the right-hand side, this is actually a car, Volkswagen Golf. Okay, so you can compare the difference between the normal petrol car as well as the e-Golf, which is the electric Golf. So in terms of the total retail cost, you realize that why they are able to have such a high penetration rate is because the electric Golf is actually cheaper. Okay, with all the subsidy given by the government, is actually cheaper as compared to buying a petrol or a normal combustion engine Golf. And of course, like I said, it is not just the upfront cost. Even we talk about the servicing, we talk about the cost of petrol versus the cost of electric, the cost of charging. Electric is also going to be a lot cheaper in the long run. So upfront, you get to buy a cheaper car, and in the long run, you also get to save in terms of you know, you don't have to spend so much on oil lah. You actually just need to pay for electricity. And of course, for Norway, they believe in this thing lah, called polluter pays principle. That means if you want to go for a normal combustion engine car, then you have to pay more. All right, so basically they are promoting into electric car. And of course, we can see that more and more countries are moving towards that area as well. But surprisingly, even though Norway has such a high penetration rate, they are not the largest electric vehicle, I would say, country, okay, in terms of number of cars. So China right now is actually the largest, okay, at over 133,000 units of electric vehicle. So when it comes to the growth rate, okay, let's look at some of the growth drivers, okay, that will actually lead to even higher growth for electric vehicle. Number one is, of course, government policies and subsidies. So previously, the China ministry, they actually kind of reduced the subsidy. All right, but what happened is that because of COVID, right now they actually extend this subsidy all the way to 2023. Okay, 2023. So they actually extend this subsidy all the way to another 3 more years lah. And of course, because of that, that kinds of lead to more growth lah. Okay, more people continue to buy electric vehicle in China because of the subsidy. So of course, I would say a lot of government, especially right now, we have heard of this thing called the Paris Climate Agreement. So more and more countries are moving towards carbon free, okay, or carbon neutral. All right. So this is an agreement by many different countries except US. All right, that they actually want to make sure that their country is carbon neutral by a certain date. And of course, China mentioned that by 2060, okay, they are going to become carbon neutral, okay, which is actually not an easy thing to achieve for such a big country. And in order for them to do that, like I said, they need to, electric is the way to go. All right, so of course the government will actually push on a lot of initiative to make sure that this actually happen. So the second thing is that a lot of more and more automakers are moving towards EV, which is electric vehicle. So that also does drive the whole EV market even stronger. And of course, the third one is about, of course, pollution. Okay, and of course, last but not least, we also understand that actually electric vehicle is a lot more, I would say, practical. Okay, in terms of the performance, and of course, in terms of the long-term cost, right, of an electric car is actually a lot lower as compared to the combustion engine car, right? So people start to understand this, and of course, with the government subsidy, I would say if you were to compare electric car versus a petrol car, apple to apple, I would say that most people actually choose the electric car, right? So when it comes to the overall electric vehicle market, right, this is what they actually estimated, okay, that the market is going to grow at about 21.1%. But again, this is just based on estimation. So yeah, at least we know that overall, okay, this is a market that is actually growing at a double digit, which is rather exciting, right? So of course, another analyst will say that, NIO will be a winner in the EV market, etc., etc., etc. So these are there are a lot of news or analysts, talking about this and that. So I do agree that NIO is actually a solid company, but later on, we touch about some of the risks as well. Okay, so when it comes to NIO, right, why is it that the share price has actually went up quite significantly? Is because recently they actually announced their delivery update. Okay, the number of cars that they actually sold. So you can see on a year-to-year basis, right, the number of cars that they sold actually went up over 100%, 111%. And this actually shows the demand, okay, the demand in the vehicle, and of course, the overall market itself. So again, it is not just NIO. Okay, I would say that XPeng as well as Li Auto, they are performing pretty well as well. So again, that leads to the huge rise in all these three companies in terms of the share price as well. You can see that they have went up quite significantly. All right. So in terms of the number of cars, in terms of the three model, ES6, ES8, as well as overall, okay, let's just take a look at ES6. Okay, ES6, you can see that actually it kind of flattening. Okay, ES6 kind of flattening, whereas if you look at ES8, also increasing slightly. Okay, increasing slightly. I'll say more and more people are actually moving towards the new model, which is the EC6. Okay, the EC6 is actually the more better performing model. Okay, another reason why that is the better performing model is actually because in terms of pricing, that is relatively cheaper as well. Okay, that's relatively cheaper as well. But overall, we can see based on the right-hand column, the red color bar for 2020, you can see that the number of new car sales is still increasing on a month-to-month basis. Okay, so that is actually still a good news for NIO. All right, and that is something that we want to actually monitor it to make sure that this company is able to continue to sell more and more car on a month-to-month basis. So what is going to be exciting is we're going to look at some of the comparison. Okay, some of the comparison between Li Auto, XPeng, as well as NIO. So I know some of you is like, so these three are electric vehicle that is in China. So which one should I actually invest in? So let me just touch on some of the key comparison between NIO, XPeng, as well as Li Auto. So one key thing about Li Auto, right, is that Li Auto, the car is actually a hybrid car. Okay, what do I mean by hybrid? That means the car actually has both a combustion engine, okay, which runs on petrol, and at the same time it has an electric motor. Okay, so because of this, right, what happened is that the range is a lot longer. So from what I know, okay, the Li 1 SUV, right, it is able to run as far as 800 kilometer. Okay, 800 kilometer. In terms of the distance, based on a full charge and a full tank for the Li Auto vehicle, 800 kilometer, which is amazing. Okay, and that is also one of the reasons why for people who needs the long distance, who needs the extra juices, they'll probably go for Li Auto. Whereas for Neo, right now they are only going for about 500 to 600 kilometer. All right, 500 to 600 kilometer. But what is different about Neo is, of course, the self-driving technology. I would say that among these three, they have one of the, they are nearest, they are the closest to self-driving. And of course, something new is they actually offer this thing called the battery as a service. So because of BAAS, they are able to reduce the price of their car by 127,000 yuan, okay, which translate to about, divided by 5 is about 20 over 1,000 saving. All right, so that is actually quite a huge saving. So that is, again, a key advantage of Neo. Because of this BAAS, the car that they are selling, the prices are relatively lower. And of course, if you look at XPeng, they have, entry level as well as an SUV. And I say that for the sedan, the starting price is also pretty low. And one unique point about XPeng is that they actually have their own factory. Okay, so of course, a lot of people, when you actually focus on Tesla, Tesla is good because of the vertical integration. So they do everything on their own, from the battery to the manufacturing to sales to servicing. Everything is done in-house. Okay, that is what makes Tesla such an amazing company. So for XPeng, they also have their own factory, which means that to a certain extent, they can get to control the quality of the car that actually comes out from the factory. Whereas for Neo, they are actually having a joint venture with this huge China company called JAC. Okay, JAC, if I never remember wrongly, right? So to a certain extent, they have to depend on the quality of the JAC production line or the manufacturing line. All right. But other than that, so far we don't really see much complaint, and hopefully everything will continue to be pretty good. So let's just look at the three companies as a comparison side by side. So we can see that Neo has been in the market for a longer time. So in terms of the number of cars, in 2019, they have sold the most amount of cars. Okay, but again, not saying that they are better, but rather it's because they are in the market slightly longer. In terms of the revenue, again, because they have sold more cars, so they definitely have a much higher revenue. But when it comes to growth, okay, I would say that XPeng has the highest, okay, at 120%. Li Auto, they just started selling, so we don't really have a good number to actually start with. Okay, but Neo is at about 95%, so still pretty high. I would say that they are all pretty close to about 100% revenue growth. All right, and in fact, based on what the founder actually mentioned, they mentioned that in 2021, okay, their target, right, is actually to sell 4 times more car as compared to 2020, 4 times, okay, which is 400%. So to a certain extent, I would say that what you are seeing now, 100% growth is still not the maximum capacity. Okay, yeah, it's probably just the starting. Okay, so they are expecting 2021 to have even much higher growth in terms of the number of cars sold. So that is also something that a lot of investors, a lot of analysts is watching out for. Okay, whether they are able to really hit that target. Of course, if they can, I would say that the share price will go up a lot higher. But if they can't fulfill that promise or forecast, okay, again, the share price will probably take a big hit. But one thing you realize for now is that all three companies, right, they have a net margin of negative, which means that definitely they are going to lose money. Okay, again, because car manufacturing is a very, very costly process. So you need to sell a minimum amount of car in order for it to become, to have the economies of scale. Okay, and that is again something that as compared to these three companies, that Tesla has already achieved a positive net margin. And of course, right now, Tesla is also profitable, okay, on a year-to-year basis. all right? But at least for these three companies, I would say that they are still at the early stage, okay? And when it comes to profitability, it is still a question mark, okay? It is still a question mark. So of course, analysts predicted that 2023, NIO will turn profitable. Okay, 2023 they will turn profitable, but again, that is something that we will have to monitor lah, okay, for the next couple of years. Right, so in terms of these three companies, NIO, XPeng, as well as Li Auto, personally, I feel that NIO might be the safest bet lah. Okay, considering that it has a relatively longer track record, they have been in the market longer. In terms of the revenue, they are also the highest, and in terms of technology, okay, in terms of battery swap as well as self-driving, they also have the best technology in the market, okay, among these three. So I would say that among these three, I personally would prefer a NIO, okay, because of the track record and because of the technology as well as the battery as a service, which is something that no other competitor is able to offer. Right, so when we come and look at the risk, okay, let's look at the risk. Okay, of course, the cost of manufacturing is going to be higher when it comes to electric vehicle as compared to internal combustion energy. But again, like I said, with more and more companies coming out with electric vehicle, and of course with the technology in battery, the cost of battery is coming down. So I would say that this is something that right now, electric vehicle company might not be the most profitable one. But what happened is that as years goes by, as technology become better, it will become better and better lah. Okay, but something we need to just monitor. So of course, like I said, traditional automakers are transitioning to EV as well. So for example, companies like General Motors and all that, they are coming out with electric vehicles. So for the current three companies like NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, and even Tesla, they will probably face pretty strong competition coming from the existing big players in the market, right? And of course, like I said, the biggest challenge when it comes to investing in these three, or rather these four electric vehicles, is of course the very, very high valuation method, rather the very, very high valuation. All right, later I'm going to touch on a little bit more about the valuation, but let's look at the opportunity coming from NIO. So NIO, in terms of the technology wise, okay, or rather the unique selling point on top of the battery swap that they are able to do. Okay, one of the things that they are very proud of is actually this thing called the upgradable battery technology. Okay, so let me just explain a little bit over here. So what happened is that old model can actually upgrade into the new larger battery pack easily. So previously, okay, the first model of new cars actually come with a 70 kilowatt hour battery. Okay, so basically the bigger the number, the better it is lah. Okay, that means you can actually run further. Yeah, the efficiency is also better. Right, so the first model, based on the existing technology at that point of time, is 70 kilowatts hour. All right, so what happened is that, right, for example, if you bought an old Tesla that comes with the old battery, there's no way you can actually just change the battery unless you go and upgrade to a new car. So you have to change the whole car in order for you to actually have better performance, all right, to run longer miles. But what happened is that for NIO, okay, let's say you actually bought the old model, which is the ES8, which is running on a 70 kilowatt hour battery. Okay, so because right now what happened is that, okay, they have already created the 100 kilowatt hour battery. So all you need to do is you just need to go and select that, hey, I want to do an upgrade. Of course, you have to pay a fee lah. Okay, so when you actually pay a fee, because of the battery swapping technology, right, they will be able to just swap your 70 kilowatt battery with the 100 kilowatt hour. So just by doing this, immediately the range of your car, which you have bought 2 years ago, immediately increased by easily about 20% to 30% extra miles. Okay, and why is it so powerful is because they actually offer it as a service, which means that, for example, this month, you know that you need to travel further. So you can say that this month I subscribe to the 100 kilowatt hour. You pay maybe a small fee lah. I don't know, about $50 or $40. Then for this month, you get a longer range battery. Next month, you feel that, hey, maybe I don't really drive that much. 70 kilowatt hour is good enough for me. You can actually cancel off this service, and then they will of course swap it back to the normal one, and you don't have to pay these additional charges. So it becomes so much more interchangeable. Okay, and of course in the future when the battery technology becomes better, they come out with 120, 150. Okay, what happens is that all you need to do is you just request. It's like an app lah. it's like your handphone. If today you want to use more internet speed, you want to have faster internet speed, you can subscribe to it. So same goes to the battery in NIO. If you want longer range, you just subscribe to it, and that month you will have longer range. So that is something that they are really, really proud of. In terms of the pricing, you can actually go and check it out. Yeah, I'm not going to touch too much on the pricing itself. And of course, because they are able to so-called separate the battery from the car, okay, so what happened is that today, if you actually buy a NIO, okay, and you actually say that you want to buy the car and the battery separately, so what happened is that, okay, you can actually save $128,000 off the car. So your car doesn't come with the battery. Okay, yeah. So of course, what happened is that of course, you will need a battery. So what happens is that you have to pay a recurring fee. Okay, so every month you actually pay a battery fee of $1,480, which translates to about $300. Okay, and then yeah, if I'm not wrong, it is unlimited recharge or basically more than enough for your usage. So now your battery becomes like a monthly fee. You don't have to pay upfront for a more expensive car. So again, that is something that so far in the market, NIO is the only one that is able to do it. So of course, some important timeline is that this 100 kilowatt hour is a new technology. Okay, so again, it will start in late November. So of course, delivery will start as early December, which is almost coming up already, right? So again, this is something exciting. So they are coming out with better battery that runs longer, things like that. So again, do watch out for that coming out from NIO. So if you compare Tesla versus NIO, okay, I think a lot of people are very excited about that. So right now, Tesla is delivering more than 10 times as compared to NIO, okay, in terms of the number of car sales. But we know that in terms of the market cap, NIO is relatively more expensive as compared to Tesla, okay. And of course, if you look at the left-hand side, right, Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, they are doing extremely well. You can see the number of car sales actually went up, went to the moon. Okay, as compared to Model S and Model X, it is pretty flat. Okay, why? If you compare to the right-hand side, Model S and Model X is the more expensive one. If you actually look at the price range, Model S is $99,000. Model X, which is the Tesla with the, I don't know what you call the gull wing, okay, or the wing, okay, it costs $104,000. So that is expensive. So we realize that people who buy Tesla to a certain extent is they still want something that is relatively affordable, right? And that is why the most popular one is actually the Model 3. Okay, and of course, the latest model that is coming out is the Model Y, which is at about $60,000, right? So for NIO, with subsidy, right, I would say that the price range comes in at about $40,000. Okay, that means with the BAAS, that means you actually have the 127,000 subsidy. The price of NIO comes in at about 40 over thousand, so it's actually cheaper. All right. And that makes it very, very attractive, especially for people in China itself. So now let's look at valuation. So I know a lot of people, you know that these are a good company, solid company. And if you look at electric vehicle, it has a high growth and all that. But I think what really makes me think about whether should I invest right now or should I wait, is of course the valuation. So previously, we all know that Tesla, people say that, wow, Tesla is so expensive, etc., etc., etc. But right now, if you compare Tesla and NIO, right, based on the price to sales, okay, Tesla price to sales is 20 and NIO price to sales is 47. Okay, again, the bigger the number means that it is more expensive. The multiplier is more. Right, so now if you compare it, okay, suddenly you realize that, hey, actually Tesla seems to be relatively cheap when it comes to the price to sale. Right, so again, like I said, 47 to us right now, we might feel that it's a little bit high, but at the same time, because this is uncharted territory, or to a certain extent, it's the hype. It's the hype. How much further can it go? Honestly, nobody know. Can it go to 60? Can it go to 100 price to sale? Maybe, maybe it's possible, But personally, if you ask me, paying for 47 times the sales, it's a bit crazy. It's pretty crazy. Oops. Okay, so now let's look at the financial fitness. This is the last part already. Probably just give another 5 more minutes. Okay, so let's look at new. Okay, in terms of the financial. Okay, so of course we can see that they are selling more and more cars, so the revenue is increasing. But of course, like I said, right now, because this is still a very, very new company, okay, so the gross margin right now is still negative. Okay, so for me, I'm actually waiting for it to actually turn positive. Okay, because for a company, that means every car that they sell, they're basically losing money. They're just bleeding more and more money. The more car they sell, the more they bleed. So how do you know that? You can actually see the net income. The more car they sell, the more money they bleed. Can you see the net income? Right, it is increasing, but with a negative sign in front. And of course, the free cash flow is the same. As they sell more car, they start to bleed more money. All right. So every car that they sold, so far they have not reached the economy of scale to make every car profitable. All right. So if you just compare NIO versus Tesla, so again, why you can't really compare these two companies as of now, because you realize that Tesla is relatively stronger in terms of the financial. So first thing first, we look at revenue. You can see that Tesla has been growing as well, very, very fast pace. Okay, so year after year, they are selling more and more car, and of course the revenue is increasing. That makes sense. That makes sense. But when it comes to the gross margin, okay, what really makes Tesla so powerful or so strong is, like I said, the vertical integration, whereby they do everything in-house. So the cost and everything is a lot more effective. So because of that, you can see that the gross margin for Tesla is, from the start, long time ago, they are already having a positive gross margin. Okay, which is wonderful, and it is not a single digit gross margin, it is a double digit gross margin, which is amazing. So of course, in the past, because they are expanding the fleet and things like that, so to a certain extent, they are still losing money. You can see the net income, they're still losing money. But what is exciting is, of course, the final one. Okay, final one. You can see this particular year, okay, Tesla is profitable. And of course, the moment they release the news that they are profitable, what happened to the share price? If you look at Tesla, okay, fly all the way to the moon, just like their SpaceX company, right? And of course, in terms of the free cash flow, you can see it is positive, which is very, very healthy. So right now, Tesla is a very, very healthy, positive free cash flow company. The more car they sell, the more money they make, the more money they have in the bank account, which is amazing. They don't have to depend on investor. Hey, can you pump in more money over here? But at least for now, NIO, hopefully they will be able to turn profitable by 2023. But again, that will be something that I'll be looking out for. But at least for now, I still see that even though, yes, they are able to sell more and more cars, but are they able to turn profitable? Okay, I think that is always the issue. Okay, you can have a company that, for example, let's talk about Uber. Okay, they can have a lot of taxi out there. Okay, but in the end, this company, right, the more taxi they have, the more money they lose. You realize that there's a limit to how much they can grow. There's a limit to how much the share price can grow as well. All right, so that is something that I'm not saying that it's bad, but like I said, NIO is still relatively new, and with the current valuation, I just feel that it's a little bit on the higher side. Okay, but I'm going to give you the summary of what I feel about NIO, okay, as well as some of the overall market for the electric vehicle. Is that China is the largest EV market, and with the China ministry pushing for sales for new EV to be 25% by 2025. That means by 2025, right? Okay, they want the for every four car sold, right, one of them has to be an electric vehicle. Okay, which is amazing. Right now the percentage is about 5%. Okay, so for every 100 car, 5 of them is new car sold, 5 of them is electric vehicle. So they want to increase this number by 5 times. Again, like I said, NIO is able to capture the premium market of the electric vehicle. So that also will be something that is going to benefit NIO in the mid run also. And of course, like I said, for the China President Xi Jinping, in September, he actually announced plan to boost the country Paris climate target and achieve carbon neutral by 2060. So again, when the Chinese government has such a goal, they will actually push forward. And like I said, what it means is that they are probably going to give subsidies. They are going to build on the infrastructure. Okay, so again, like I said, this is something that in order for electric vehicle to become a success, you need the support of the government, which we can see that the government is definitely pushing for carbon neutral. Okay, and last but not least, BAAS, okay, which is something that NIO offer, is actually the first in the market, and the upgradable battery is something that no other automaker offers at the current moment. So if you ask me between NIO, Li Auto, as well as XPeng, personally, I would prefer NIO. Okay, personally, I prefer NIO because all three are expensive. Okay, and what differentiates them is basically the technology as well as the innovation of the company itself. All right, and of course, in terms of the cell, personally for me, it's just one thing lah. It's just the valuation. So if you look at the price to sales valuation earlier on, Tesla is at, I mean, for NIO is at 40 plus. Tesla is at 20 plus. Okay, and I just want to raise your attention is that there are actually a lot of electric vehicle in China. It is not just these three companies. You go and actually Google and search China EV company. I would say there's more than 15 of them. More than 15 of them. BYD has been selling electric car for more than, if I never remember wrongly, more than 10 years. Okay, yeah. In fact, if you look at the bus, right, all the bus in China is by BYD. You know, but again, for electric vehicle company like BYD, the price to sale is 3, right? So can you imagine if let's say suddenly people realize that, hey, wow, actually we are paying a lot for NIO, and then the price to sale suddenly drop lah. Okay, we don't say drop to 3 lah. Let's say drop to 10 or 20 okay, yeah, it basically means that the share price has to drop by easily half lah. Okay, but of course, if you're looking at the long run, okay, as they sell more car, as the sales goes up, the share price should go up lah. Okay, so that comes to this particular point whereby is NIO a buy BUY or is NIO a buy BYE? Before I release the answer, okay, can you just share with me what do you think? What do you think based on what I've just shared with you so far? Today I talked a little bit long, okay, but can you share with me whether in your case, is it going to be a BUY buy or is it going to be a BYE bye? Can you just type it into the Zoom, into the chat itself? Wow, 49 minutes. Okay, Eileen say BUY. Eileen say buy. Pua also say BUY. Okay, yeah, let's keep it coming. Okay, keep it coming. All right, just continue to comment below whether is it a BUY or is it a BYE. Right, so far I would say except for Ultimate Investing, which is a BYE, the rest say BUY. Okay, suddenly I see more BYE. Okay, allow me to actually share with you my personal take, okay, on this area lah. So like I said, valuation, right, is to a certain extent subjective lah. Okay, again, like I said, 47 price to sale can be expensive, but that is not going to stop it from becoming even more expensive. It can even reach a price to sale of 100 or I don't know 200. Market is crazy lah. Okay, so if you ask me, the number of cars that NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, Tesla that they're going to sell is going to increase definitely. Okay, the number of cars that they're going to sell is going to increase, and it's not going to just increase like 5%, 10%. But like I said, for Tesla, maybe in the range of 30% year over year. And in the case of the three China company, they are probably going to grow like 100%, 200%, or even 300% year on year. All right. So which means that if let's say NIO is able to grow 100% in terms of the number of cars, so what happened is that you realize that the price to sales now become divided by 2. Okay, assuming that the price remains the same okay, the price to sale now become 20, right? So you realize it becomes quite reasonable. So that is where as they sell more and more car, what happens is that you realize that the price will also continue to maintain okay maybe you okay, let's just keep it simple basically, if you are buying share, okay, I feel that you can actually buy share and hold it if you are willing to hold it for the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, because right now might be expensive, but as they produce more and more cars, as they sell more and more cars, what is expensive today is going to be cheap in the future. All right, provided that they continue to sell more cars. Okay, that is the provided okay, yeah, what is expensive today is going to be cheap in the future. Okay, but like I said, you probably need to hold for 5 to 10 years. So in order for you to do that, I would say that holding the share is probably the best choice. But okay, because I know that a lot of you are doing option. Okay, and of course with option, time is not on your side. Time is not on your side Okay, some of you go for 3-month option, 6-month option, 1-year option, 2-year option. I don't know how long you go. Okay, but if you're going in for option, personally, at this current price to sale of 40 plus, I would get out of the market. Okay, I would get out of the market, especially for the 3 China company. Okay, whereas I would say that for Tesla, to a certain extent now, if you compare, right, okay, Tesla is actually lower in valuation. Okay, so in terms of option, I don't mind putting my money into Tesla at this current point of time, but I will probably pull my money out of the 3 China company if you are going based on option. If you are going for share, you can buy all of them and then just buy and leave it there. All right, so yes, that is my, okay, this one can exclude. Okay, so that is my personal take of the overall market. I am personally bullish of the whole EV market, and I'm looking forward to the day whereby we have 100% electric vehicle in Singapore. And I do see that it is going to come soon, hopefully not by Hyundai. Dyson already run away. Okay, but anyway, hopefully we are able to see like Neo, Tesla, even Xpeng, the car looks quite nice also. Yeah, so hopefully they'll be able to come to Singapore. So yeah, that is my take on these 3 companies. Again, I really look forward to also hearing from some of you. Okay, so if you have any view on this market, okay, please comment it into the comments below. Okay, please continue to comment, and I'll actually answer some. I know some of you have been asking some question inside, but probably I will not answer it today. I will actually reply your questions individually after this particular Zoom session. All right, and of course, if you have any more questions, just keep it posted into the channel, into the group chat, and I will reply you from there. If not, okay, last one is that if you actually love what you are hearing today, you want to hear more of this, do help us to share it so that more people is able to benefit from it. And of course, if you are not yet in our Telegram, please do join our Telegram channel. Okay, how do you join it? The link is over there, t.me/ultimateinvestorsg. So we are actually pushing out even more and more content for 2021. All right, so please do join us, and we love to receive your feedback as well on how we can actually improve and become better. All right, so you can also comment below. Okay, I want more content from Bowen. I want more content from Ultimate Investing. I want to know about this particular company, that company, etc., etc. All right, so keep it in the comments below. All right, with that, I think that comes to the end of today Buy or Buy series. Thanks everyone for joining me today on a Wednesday evening. Okay, for this about 1 hour. Okay, I really appreciate all of you for coming tonight. So with that, I hope you guys invest safe, stay safe, and I will see you guys in our next Buy or Buy series. Bye-bye.